P.S. Good morning and welcome to episode number 7.
Episode number 7.
And of course, it's on Friday, like we said.
Yeah, Friday.
And it's been a pretty interesting week. And between last Friday and this Friday, there's been some things in the news that have kind of perked my interest. And I don't know, but I will tell you the top ones for me, and maybe it could lead to a different discussion. But the one that stands out to me is how everybody is all of a sudden, I guess, freaking out Well, they're surprised, and I'm not surprised about it. I just see that it's news that perked up and caught my interest because, to me, it was like news that was like, oh, finally. You know, like, finally they say something about it. But it's so old news to me that I wasn't even surprised. So what I'm talking about is it the Navy has finally confirmed UFOs? That was the topic that I seen.
Oh, wow.
There's like this video footage of some unidentified flying object, right? And now the actual something of the government, I guess, that's why it's significant and why everybody's like, oh, finally, you know. But I've always felt that unidentified flying objects have always existed for the longest time. Sure. And now that the Navy is confirming it, everybody's like, oh, whoa. I'm not so surprised.
So the question now is, are they among us?
That's the question, right? Are they among us? What are they doing? Why are they blipping and disappearing?
Well, because I think it was like 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. Where they spotted one over Kansas, and they filmed it, like so many people had filmed it in Kansas.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you do the research on it, you'll see that I think it was like in 2015 or 16. They had it like a bunch of people spotted it, and they videotaped it, and they couldn't recognize it. And then they even said it on the news, and then suddenly, like after they started doing it in the news, it just went away. Like they stopped.
Like some of these unidentified flying objects, I feel are possibly created by us under secret programs, or they're testing out secret things. But then there's also some other ones that are truly the ones from outer space.
Well, because like the ones who were like from the Navy that I saw was they were tracking a bunch of blips.
Yeah, and
then they try to hail them and everything else, and then they scramble the jets to go see, and then like.
In the world of high definition, great video quality, and all of these other things, why is all the controversial stuff have to be on the worst film ever? Or why does it have to be so grainy and leave a question on
it's like
the validity of it? You know what I mean? Like,
in most cases, it happens during the night, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird, because like you'd have with all the sophisticated technology that we have, and you could like.
You got Google Earth that can zoom into your house, and you can look at like your car in the driveway.
You could literally see somebody picking their nose from like,
and then you get
a million miles in space.
Yeah, and then you get this unidentified object flying in the sky, and it's like the grainiest,
like you can't
worst
even see
video ever.
Like, there it is, the littlest spot, and you have to like do a definition. You have to do. You have to have like a technician draw like where it's at so people can see it.
Right. I don't get that part of it, and that's where the controversy is. Like, is it real? Is it not? Is it just something to create news? I mean, that's the frustrating part about it. Like,
oh man,
there's Bigfoot, but it's half a second, and the worst video ever.
And then they have to do a recreation, and it just, if I were the Bigfoot and I saw a CGI of me crossing the street, I would be upset. Those things look ugly.
Or maybe
wouldn't you be bad? Like, man, they make it look ugly.
What if Bigfoot had a special power around it that distorted waves? Like, you could never
like there's so much energy inside of them.
You could never ever get a good photo of it because there's just so much aura or electricity or something around it that just you can't videotape.
Well, the ones that I like,
kind of like a UFO. It's so grainy because it's got this protection around it to where it's meant to be stealthy.
Like,
and if you do see it, you can't really make it out.
like a radio wave defibrillator. Impulse, an impulse distorter.
The Flash, right? The Flash, the superhero, the
Yeah,
comic
yeah.
book character, right? He had a special power to just shake so rapidly
Yeah.
that he was always blurry. So you couldn't really
So
tell
like-
who he was.
Like so, like the. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
But I don't think Bigfoot can do that.
We don't know. we can never catch one or see a live one to ever know.
You know, actually, have you seen that one video? I think it's the one that I like the most of Bigfoot. Is the father is taking pictures of their kids playing in the on this hillside,
Uh-huh.
and then way up at the top there's this tree, and you can see this image like going up and down the tree, and then just playing too, like a teen. And then suddenly it sees the camera and then goes away.
It sees the camera.
No, it totally sees it. Like,
That's the weird thing.
I don't-
Is like, how does Bigfoot
I think it's
single out the camera?
I think it's more of the people paying attention. Like, look, because like,
Mhm.
that I don't know.
It's
Bigfoot-
pointing at me.
Yeah, it's like whatever
But
that
that's
is
at the
pointing.
same time, if it did sense the camera, maybe because there's things in a camera that send out energy. Like if you take a remote
Yeah.
control, right, you could actually see that beam or
Yeah.
see that.
I mean, here's my question though. It's like with all of the people that have these, these tree cameras now, for hunting,
Mm-hmm.
and never do you have an image of Bigfoot. I mean, you can get deer, you can get hogs, you can get turkey, you can get squirrels.
Well, in my thought is the Bigfoot is so smart and elusive. He's not going to go to a hunting trail where hunters are setting up an ambush. You know what I mean? He's not going to be in those areas. He's so elusive and smart. He's like, oh, look, this hunter's
We
set up
probably can
this.
smell you right there, like, hey, that's a hunting lodge right there. Walk
What's
away.
this device? Oh, it's a camera set up by a human. I'm not going to go there.
Isn't that funny?
But
Maybe
there's
Bigfoot-
got to be one Bigfoot that is like the spontaneous and extrovert that would just be like photobombing these things because he knows he can't get caught, but he just is bored and wants to just say hi.
I'm
That
just
would be
thinking
funny.
about.
That could be a good comedy. That would be like good sitcom for a show.
You know what? I think here. Okay, so you mentioned that Geico's been pretty good about having these crazy commercials, right? They should do one on Bigfoot, like they did with the caveman.
Caveman, yeah, those
They're
are
like-
funny.
those are
commercials.
funny.
Yeah.
Like they'll actually have a Bigfoot one, like.
Yeah, turn the Bigfoot and the caveman into like a buddy, and Buddy Bigfoot.
Yeah, Buddy Bigfoot.
Bigfoot buddy.
Hi, my name is Buddy, and I'm a Bigfoot.
Yeah. You don't need to be scared of me. And
I live out here in the woods, and I love it.
I'm telling you,
I do
that
some hunting. I do some fishing.
that would be a good marketing campaign for somebody out there. I'm telling you, people would love it.
I've actually seen in the thrift store a tennis shoe that was like that, like literally.
And that is really a Bigfoot.
That'd be literally.
Like Shaquille O'Neal size.
Yeah. Shaquille
Wow.
O'Neal tennis shoe, basketball shoe.
And
The clean.
the thing that blows my mind is there's somebody in our area that has that size shoe, and we haven't seen them yet.
What do you mean?
Somebody donated that big shoe to the thrift shop,
Yeah.
so that's somebody's around.
Somebody
here,
is around here.
and
It's
I haven't
Bigfoot.
seen them. Yeah,
It's
that has
Bigfoot.
that big.
It's actually Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Nike? Nike making an actual shoe for Bigfoot.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be funny? Like, actually, we even make shoes for Bigfoot.
And
Leave them out. Leave them out in the
not only
woods.
that, they should bring back the lights, so that way we can actually see Bigfoot if he's running through the
Oh
woods. or
yeah,
something.
that's right. Like the kids ones, like
Yeah.
do like a
Yeah.
tracker or something.
Right.
Wouldn't it be funny though if like Bigfoot like looked at it and like, like, let me put these on.
Ooh, comfortable.
Wow, I can run. I can jump really high.
Oh, He'd be like a kid trying on shoes for the first time, just running back and
Yeah,
forth,
that'd be funny. It'd be funny if they caught him like eating it, like you didn't know what it was.
smelling it,
And
and
they're like,
but yeah, that was one of the things. You know, the UFO. That's one of the news things that stick out through my mind.
so now that we know that we're not alone in this universe,
Mm-hmm.
now what? Okay, the first guy that snags one of them things and steals their technology is going to be a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But-
it's going to change the world. Like, we can all now go to space and come back.
There's gonna be a fight over who people think it belongs to, that property, right?
I mean, it's funny because if the government already knows,
They're gonna say that's our.
Oh.
They're gonna confiscate it from you.
I'm just
of course.
wondering if they already have the technology. It'd be interesting to see, like if, I mean, because those UFO thingies that they spotted, they're not that big. The orbs are not that big.
I would like to see
They're probably just
the power supply in those, how we could replicate that, because we know that whatever those things are have to have such an awesome type of battery
I don't
or
know.
self-powering system. I would think.
I would say that it would use our atmospherics for power because there's already power.
They
We
found
just
a way to
haven't-
harness it.
Yeah, just to tap into it.
Good concept.
Like, because gravity in sense is kind of like energy, right? So, if you could just reverse the polarity of the way things are, then you have some sort of energy.
Or if they found a way to go at the speed of light, they can go from here to here to here, like in blips. Now that's what you're seeing. It's like,
Yeah. Bloop,
bloop,
bloop.
bloop.
Yeah, but like that, because then you would, because if you think about it, right, there's no way that you can power your source with just solar, right? You'd have to rely on other means to get energy,
Right.
especially in space. I mean, it's kind of it's funny because there are radioactive waves that travel through space, and so it'd be interesting to see if they are able to like kind of create this like almost like energy generator that is kind of like an antenna where it just uses that radiation to move forward, because there's particles of radiation everywhere in space. It's a hazardous place.
Or
Other than maybe having no atmosphere, but also having that radiation from the sun, from different stars, so to speak. Because when you have a supernova and it goes like this and then it collapses and then explodes, because that's what happens to it, right?
Right.
The supernova goes super, super hot, and then it goes, and then it explodes, and then that radiation is still in space. It never disappears.
Right.
So
The
if you
energy
were,
just
yeah.
is always there.
So like a spaceship, conceivably, if the spaceship had the proper technology to siphon that thing, it probably could have energy forever.
It's like riding on dark matter or something.
Yeah. Or it could use like the power, like the power of a black hole, right? We have like in our orbit, we have these magnetic forces that are causing us to go in an orbit, and so by utilizing, we use that during when Apollo 13, they used the trajectory and the gravitational pull to pull us back in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Pull these guys back in.
So they're almost diverting or leveraging power that already exists in a way.
It could be already something that we already have as technology, but we haven't put the pieces together. We could already have the means to travel through space without even knowing it. But we haven't put the pieces together.
Right. And we haven't found a way to protect ourselves as we go through that element or the environment.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're flesh or bones, and
Yeah.
maybe we have the technology to be able to do it, but we're trying to find a way to protect ourselves while we do it.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny though if we found a way to like have our because our our bodies are a system, and so it's dependent on different things for it to function. Imagine if we can self-contain that whole system, where it just kind of regenerates on its own without, we exhale carbon dioxide, and then our carbon dioxide gets converted somehow back to oxygen.
That would mean
That'd be kind of cool, like a rebreather.
it would almost, to me, like, this sounds science fiction, guys, but instead of hair implants, you somehow are able to implant a live growing
That's
plant like hair.
Yeah,
that-
and it nourishes your.
You kind of nourish. It's kind of weird, but in a kind of sense, that's kind of what you're talking about. You have something that's part of your body that is feeding off of the carbon dioxide that
That's
you're
cool.
exhaling, but it's implanted in your
Right.
head somehow to where it nourishes and
So having energy receptors in your hair, like even just walking, you would have the ions and the protons and the neutrons going through your hair and being soaked up. And then you wouldn't have to eat anything.
It's just self-sustained.
Yeah, we'd still have to. I mean, there's still that system, you have to go
Right.
through. You might have to nourish yourself not that often, I guess. It'd be kind of cool. Like your whole blood would, like your whole ions and neutrons, and it's just feeding your whole system. So you wouldn't have to eat that much.
Interesting.
Wouldn't it be kind of cool though?
You know how much I could get done if I didn't have to eat that much? Or, it's just like you could actually be so productive. You know what I mean? Because you're like, man, I don't have to nourish. I don't have to go through that.
You don't have to get hungry. Like you're not hungry.
Right. You don't have to take a break.
You just keep on going.
Hmm.
Be kind of interesting though. I think robots and AI technology. I think we're going to be able to do that. Like the artificial hair, we can actually probably make artificial hair that has like the energy receptors in the hair, so it's actually feeding the robot. Be interesting to see.
There are so many things that can just make things.
It's amazing.
I don't know. It just blows my mind. It's like I'm almost speechless thinking about those concepts because.
But we can't find Bigfoot.
Right. Yeah. We can't find Bigfoot. So.
We know he's there. There's evidence everywhere.
I know that there was also another thing in the news about they might have finally found the Loch Ness monster. Like they might have.
What did they say it was? It was like a lizard or something? What did they say? Like an overgrown. They said it might have been a fish, or I don't forget.
At
what
one
it was.
time they thought it was a big giant snake because they saw the humps and stuff.
Yeah.
But they didn't. I don't know. Like once again, they had the worst film ever, the grainiest picture. The guy didn't.
Like the best picture ever was like done in 1920, where like they
Right.
like that was it.
And it was like static on a TV with like an outline of something.
They had to draw to
Like-
make sure that everyone got it like where it was.
Or is it like only set up for like beginner photographers to find these things? Oh, let me get on my camera. Oh, manual settings. Where's the autofocus button? Well, we didn't have one.
1, 2, 3.
Don't move. I know one of the things that we talked about too, that we talked about how we can't find Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But we also talked about why can't there be something in a car to detect if a kid's in the back seat? You know what I mean? I can't let that go either.
You can't let that go.
With all the cameras, sophistication, car
Technology.
alarms, technology, and the one thing that I want is to prevent. And
You know what we ought to
prevent
do
the-
is we ought to just go ahead and invent that thing.
Yeah, get some prototypes together, get some people together, be like, yeah.
Okay,
let's
so look.
not overcomplicate this thing.
Okay,
let's
so-
just do this.
I bought not too long ago a baby monitor that has the camera in it,
Yeah.
and it has a microphone in the back.
Hmm.
So I don't see why we couldn't have.
And somehow we can connect to some proximity sensors or something like that?
I mean,
or?
we already have an in-dash live cam.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the traffic cam or whatever we put in our car now.
Right.
And it automatically, when you're on the road, it automatically films.
And every car has a little thermometer thing that tells you the temperature of outside and stuff
Yeah.
like that. There should be able to have some connection or communication to say that, hey, if temp is this, and there's something heavy in the back seat, or
Yeah.
there's
Oh no, because like
why
okay,
can't there be a Bluetooth car seat that detects if there's a presence of weight in it?
I mean, we have already like thermal technology, aka a company called FLIR. FLIR detects, you know.
Do you think it's more of a liability issue with that? Because
I don't
like,
think so.
what if there was a death and you used this car suit that was supposed to detect,
No.
and there was a fault in it or something like that, and it did happen? There's got to be some sort of disclaimer or.
Okay,
know.
so really, I mean,
But
you're right though. There should already be technology that, I mean, that's already created for this thing. It should not have to happen.
maybe it's waiting for us, or maybe for you, to collaborate with us to get this created.
Because I mean, we have sensors now that can detect heartbeats
Mhm.
from far away. I mean,
Right. Even cameras in your car that can detect, like, you know how a snake
So,
sees things,
yeah.
thermal.
yeah.
If that camera detects like movement or heat that looks like a person or something like
Sure.
that, it should be able to say, "Hey, car alarm!" If you
Or
leave
or
me.
maybe even that sign that says "baby on board" actually is a sensor, and then it alerts people on the outside that there's a baby still inside.
only if the car is parked.
Yeah,
And-
only it's activated
Because
only when the car is parked.
right, because I wouldn't want
Because once the baby starts
someone-
crying,
I wouldn't want like a stranger that doesn't know me to know that I have a baby on board, because what if there's like someone trying to kidnap a kid? I would only want it to be active if my car was parked and it was hot outside or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, but you don't want it to be manually deactivated either. But if my car is running on the road and I'm moving,
yeah.
then I
But,
wouldn't want anybody around me to know that I have my kid in my car.
but here's okay. So
don't know.
we already have have the
on
key
board
fob.
signs?
We already have the key fob that can turn your car on.
Uh-huh.
Why not have it? Why not have it on the inside of the? Well, like have that technology inside the car, where the car is smart enough to detect there's a kid in the back
What if
and turns on the car, and then your key fob alerts you, hey, or has even the microphone that you can hear the baby crying.
okay,
in the
so
back?
let's think about the sequence of events, right? When you put the kid in the car, the
Yes.
first thing you do,
You strap them
you
into
strap
the
them
seat.
in. So
You
what
lock
if
them in.
what
And
if
even if you strap him in, that already has the sensor in it,
right? So
and it's
if you
already
leave-
in his chest or her chest, right?
if you leave the kid in the car, obviously you didn't unbuckle the kid.
Right.
So
So that in
could
itself
be-
is a warning
yeah.
in general. Like it's already connected to your key fob.
It's the opposite of when you get in your car, right? So when you get in your car and you don't buckle up, you get that chime.
Yeah. Ding. Ding.
You do the opposite for a
ding.
kid. If
Right,
you're
right.
not in the car and there's a buckle in the car seat, then it dings to remind you, hey,
Oh, when you turn the car off.
yes,
It'll ding.
that's
Ding.
kind of a good idea.
ding.
That's a
You're
great
like,
idea.
what is that ding for?
Yeah,
And it's an audible reminder that
Right.
there's something still.
just like when you're trying to lock, or like if you open your door or your headlights
Yeah.
are still on,
Yeah.
it
Ding.
makes that chime.
Yeah.
Say, hey, you
That's
can't-
perfect. It's an easy fix. I
Yes.
mean, because then, number one, you lock the kid in,
Mhm.
and then because even if you don't do it right, it'll still chime because
Right.
you're unbuckled. You're buckled, and you're like, why is it still chiming?
Exactly.
Or you're like, hey, oh, well, wait a minute, my kid's unbuckled. Click,
Right.
and then when you turn the car off, and then you open the door,
You
and
need a
it'll
buckle.
chime.
Yeah.
Ding,
I think.
ding,
I mean, I think that's
ding.
a great idea.
Either the car or
It's a start of something simple.
either your car or your key fob.
Hmm. There we go.
Because your key fob will tell you,
I think we should really
ding,
try to.
ding. When you
Get
walk
this to
away
work.
from the car, it'll activate.
Hmm.
Like, why is my key fob? Why is my key fob ringing?
Like when you go to the restaurants, when you wait for a table,
Yeah.
and they give you that little disc and it starts vibrating when your table's
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
Make
Same
a key
thing.
fob like that. That
Where it
vibrates.
would vibrate to
and
let you
lights
know
up and all that
there's
stuff.
a kid in there.
Right.
You can have the option, right? Kid mode or whatever.
Hmm.
You can have that as a car owner, have that installed in there,
Right.
and
I
then
like
do
this.
the OnStar where it would say, Mr. Jones, your car is turned on automatically to lower the temperature because it senses that there is a person in your vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind checking that?
Right. Or it would give you 3 times. It will ask the question 3 times. Are you sure you want to shut it off? And then, if it goes to quarter or whatever,
Yeah.
it's almost like, hey,
I wonder
it
if
asks you 3 times.
I wonder if you can actually, because people wear the Garmin's now, like
Mhm.
the watches, or even like the smart
There's
watch.
so many smart accessories
Yeah,
out there
and
right
so
now. Yeah.
it would like OnStar would come on, or whatever, however, as an app, because you chose it, and it would ring your phone, and then it would show the video inside your vehicle, like
Or maybe
like in the
OnStar
back.
could go to your car and do a quick listen to
Yeah.
see if it hears a baby crying or something like that.
because OnStar can detect if your car has been stolen and ask you, do you want to disable the vehicle?
Mm-hmm.
And what if it was the reverse, right?
Right.
Like, hey, we detect, OnStar detects that there's a baby in your vehicle. Do you want to turn your car on?
Right.
I
This
mean,
should-
it's just so easy.
Yeah,
It's
guys,
such
there's no excuses.
it's
Do
such an
this.
easy
Save a kid's
solution.
life. Save a pet's life. This thing is a thing that should never
Ridiculous.
happen. It's
Yeah.
just that's why I'm so mad about it, and that's why I'm not letting the topic go. It needs to be done.
So
It just breaks my heart to hear those type of stories.
you know what I would also like to see, because people are sometimes they take risks sometimes, especially during floods when they see an area that, hey, I've been through
yeah.
this a lot, I think I can make it, and then
Mhm.
suddenly their car starts floating away.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be kind of cool if not only are there the airbags would deploy to keep the car buoyant.
Okay. Like a
Like a-
life
Yeah,
raft.
like
It automatically senses it like.
yeah, like there's water coming in, you're
Mhm.
trapped in, you can't break in the window because you're already kind of underwater.
Right.
You have that option to deploy
Mm-hmm.
the airbags.
It's like a airbag on the outside, where
Right.
it comes out of your fenders and panels and just kind of creates
Yeah.
a cushion
Yeah.
of air.
Yeah, just like instead of
Like a big inner tube for a car.
like a big inner tube for a car, the
Mm.
sense is that you're floating away like you're in a bad situation.
I think we could definitely get to that. Now, the occurrence of that happening, I mean, if you wanted that option, you definitely would have to pay for it. It wouldn't be a standardized thing right away.
The problem though is that people will test that. But like,
Oh, yeah.
You know
They'll
what?
put themselves in danger, right?
I'm so sure of this thing. I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna drive right through this river,
Right.
and
I mean, it's
just
it's
almost
no different than.
encourages-
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. The exact same thing that you're talking about is happening with the auto-driving electric cars.
Yeah. Yes.
You give them the technology, they're going to try
They're
it.
gonna try it,
They're going to do some crazy
and
things
then
in that
somebody
vehicle.
runs in front of the vehicle. Like last second.
People are going to try things
They're gonna-
that are available to them. Whether it's been thoroughly tested or not tested, there's always the brave ones that
Yeah.
totally trust in whatever it
Because
is.
it's not a perfect world, right?
Mhm.
There's always this, as much as we want to control the world, there's always that. The more we try to grab, the lesser control we have.
Like, here's how I would test an auto-driving car. I'd let go, and I'd be like this, close by. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
the whole idea, though. That was the whole idea, that you are in that seat.
yeah. But my hands would be like invisibly there around
Yeah.
you know, just so I could react.
So now we're looking at, like, okay, so now, you know, back in the day, I would say that a self-driving vehicle, people would probably open up the newspaper. But now we have our cell phones, and we're on the cell phones looking at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever.
People will be watching, they'll be Netflixing.
Well,
You
no,
know what I
no,
mean? They'll be
that's happening now.
I know. They're gonna. Yeah,
That's happening now.
People are already watching TV in the
People are
road.
like literally YouTubing and driving. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, you see them in the
Now,
stop.
auto cars are gonna be letting them do it completely.
Well, no, I think you should have like just like in the airplane, right? You have the autopilot.
hmm
It takes a minute to adjust everything, and then
Here's how they should make it safe. Now, if I was a city developer
Right.
or someone that had control over the plan on how these auto cars should work, just like an interstate, you have certain areas where you can drive 65.
that's exactly what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the same
You
thing.
should do the same thing with the auto cars where you have auto car zones,
Auto car lane.
auto car lanes. Yeah, because
Auto car lane.
those would be areas that have been thoroughly been tested.
Yes.
There's also sensors.
Yes. All along the road.
All along the road.
And up in the high, like
Right.
where the signs are.
Right. You get on that lane,
Yes.
kind of like the turnpike.
Sensors on the ground.
You are now in auto. Feel
And then
free
push the
to
button. Yeah.
kick back, relax.
Yeah, relax.
And we will let you know, like,
Right.
ETA 39 minutes
Yes.
to the next area where you
Yeah.
need to get
I-
in the non-auto zone.
I think somebody's already kind of developing that.
Oh, really? Well, great
I
minds think alike.
I think that's happening, but I think
But that would be smart, right?
But that's exactly what needs to happen.
yeah.
In order
There's
for it to
times
work.
to be auto, there's times not to be.
Because
Create
then you
these zones for people.
right.
And then these zones too, you could, you know, maybe people could pay a toll to use them because you got to maintain them
Yeah.
with the technology and stuff. But these zones also allow you to go at higher speeds than when you were
Yeah,
driving, right?
yeah.
So maybe you can create like this, like right now they're talking about that train system that can go from Kansas City to St. Louis and
Sure, yeah.
so much. You do that with the car.
That'd be
That
kinda
would be
cool.
awesome. It'd be
Yeah,
like,
just have
you're
it
now
like-
in auto zone
You're
or whatever.
you're in the
Auto driving area, right?
yeah. You're
Kick
in
back,
the
relax, and enjoy the ride.
yeah.
Then at that moment, everybody starts getting out their devices, kicking
So-
back, lounging like this, or
So-
maybe even taking a nap.
So since it's happening on like a federal, like it could either be the interstate or whatever, right? Because the money's being funded, you know, by the federal.
Right. And if you could find a way, like MS-DOS got into all of the Windows computers, right? If you found a way to have a wavelength or something in the car that talked to the AutoZone area, because there's going to be time where the climate will not allow you to, no matter what circumstance, will not allow you to be in auto mode.
So
You know,
so what
like
you're
if it's
saying
a
is like a
blizzard-
warning system.
Yeah, something that says, hey,
I don't know. Maybe it might be
storm
good.
going through here.
It might be good to go into auto when you're in really bad weather,
But
because then you can sense the other vehicle.
then it wouldn't let any car go over a certain mile per hour.
right. It would actually
And it
whatever was be safe.
Right. And it could detect who was on the grid. So if there was a car
Yeah.
in front of you, because of this climate condition, it will not allow cars to be a certain length apart from each other.
Exactly. It
so
would
it'll
sense.
always
It would
be
always sense
in a safe stopping distance.
Right.
Not a bad idea, I guess.
where it actually.
But then if something did happen and it was federally controlled, who's at fault?
yeah, there's a lot of
So
stuff
then
that
now
needs to
there's
be
a
worked
gray
out.
area and there's like a liability issue. But for the most part, if we eliminate the people always trying to sue somebody mentality, you could really get into some great ideas and inventions.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like you remember back in the day when you were a kid and you'd have these slot cars. You know, they're all like the electric ones where you.
Yeah, I love
And
those.
you try to go as fast as you can, and
But
once you got the car to to go fast enough, you're flattened out, and
Mhm.
it's just
Right.
spinning around in
But
circles.
you also
right?
had to know when not to have it all the way down because when you go around
Right.
the corner, it could spin out.
Yeah, you could see them starting to
Mhm.
spin a little bit, but I
Yeah.
think that's basically what would work in that auto, like the autopilot area or whatever.
Or another idea would be this would cost more money, so they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
But once you get into auto drive area, it's almost like an escalator. You actually turn off your car, and then you're just going along this track, and no car's actually running, but the entire road system's like moving, and you're like on a
Oh.
super fast escalator. You know, just zoom.
That's interesting.
Go ahead, turn off your car.
No.
You're
I-
locked into this space, and you're just.
So with the concept of the slot car, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
you can have an area, kind of like what you're talking about,
Well, if you forklift,
And it would
forklifts use
actually-
it, like a wire system.
and it could actually charge your vehicle while you're on that.
Hmm.
Like it would charge your vehicle. Like literally, maybe you have two motors, right? Maybe you have one that detects, like it's like a slot car, right?
Mhm.
It's a slot car. It detects it's where it needs to go.
Right.
But on the other one, you have another strip
Right.
that's actually charging the system.
The charging lane.
A charging lane.
That would be pretty cool too.
Like your electric
I'm out-
car would
yeah.
be charging while you're on the
Like
interstate.
instead of like pulling over to get gas, you're like, oh man, I'm running out of whatever. I'm gonna go at this reduced speed, but I'll be in the charging lane until I get enough, battery level to go back into the fast lane.
Wouldn't it be kind of cool though if you had like some entrepreneurial people, like the in-flight
What-
refueling?
You know how those
that.
bumper cars work?
Yeah,
You got that little thing on the cage on top, right?
yeah, but the top,
Just create a super lane highway that has that, and then all of a
and
sudden,
then it just extends out.
yeah, you like, oh, you're in the AutoZone area,
It would
and
be
then your
like,
antenna comes up,
and then it would just hit that area,
yep, and you. That's
just
kind of
like
cool.
just
too.
like
It's
the
a big giant
electrical,
tunnel.
just like those electric wires right there.
Right, you're just going along it,
And it would charge from the
and then
top.
you wouldn't have to worry about climate, right? Because you're kind of like in an enclosed type of area.
That'd be interesting.
Great
I
idea.
do like the in-flight refueling thing though. Have a truck come out and it goes reaches
just
out,
alongside you.
and then your car has like a receptacle, and then it just kind of catches, and then you're just driving along. It's charging,
Like an airplane in the sky.
and then when it's done, it just kind of separates, and then you pull around it.
You know what I also think that could work? Like, we have to put these pieces together, right, to make it work. Well, what I saw on, I think it was last week, I saw a lot of different things, right, that just kind of intrigued me with news. They're taking different materials and making highways and roads out of them. And one of them was like plastics.
Yeah.
They're actually taking
Oh, that's kind of cool.
plastic
Yeah,
and
like
using it as a
plastic
road.
bags.
So some of these plastics or materials can be used as a big giant, I guess, cell, I
Yeah.
would think that.
Okay, so
So now you could turn your road almost into like integral network
Right.
of kind of like a big PC board, but it's on a road.
there's this material.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've mentioned it a few times. It's called graphene.
Oh yeah, one of our other discussions that wasn't recorded, we
Graphene
talked
is
about
super
that.
cheap to make,
Mm-hmm.
and they could probably inlay that into the road system. Have strips of graphene
Right.
charged by solar power.
So yeah, because I remember you were telling me that this stuff
a great
is just
conductor.
a great conductor, super cheap, right?
Yeah,
And just infuse it with
Infuse it in the road.
Yeah.
like create like this net where you can actually have it where you're driving your electric vehicle and it's charging as it's moving
So-
along.
The building blocks, we talked about the airless tires, right?
Yeah, the airless
But what
tires.
if you had the airless tires also had embedded within the tire this
That's not
thing
hard to do.
that would interact with that graphite road. So, once you came in contact with it, now you and the road are one system.
You can actually, because of how graphene is.
Mm-hmm.
It's so thin and it's so good. It can actually be infused into the rubber.
That's what I'm thinking.
Have a graphene tire.
Right.
That is that tire that you're talking about.
Right.
The airless tire.
Uh-huh.
Because to some degree, it has a little graphite in it anyway.
And now your car, your tire, and the road
Are
are
already
one system
interacting with the system.
that can detect things ahead and
I mean,
just
everything.
be a entire system. Now you really own the
Now
road.
you have you will have these charging strips along the interstate where your electric car can go on top of them, and your tires would actually be the one siphoning the energy.
Yeah. What I think too is cool is you know those video games where you actually have race cars and you have those little power strips, those that make you go super fast.
Yeah.
You could have those strips and then zoom.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun. I mean, the future is incredible because now that we're moving away, here's a decision for the car companies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that we have been testing the electric market, but eventually, all cars are going to be electric. Once we get down the whole battery
And once you get down,
system,
get over the politics of the big oil companies, you know what I mean? There's always going to be that struggle with the power, right?
I mean, because then if you become total electric, right?
Mm-hmm.
You won't, all of your energy, all of your, say all of these lights in this building are now LEDs. And now we have this thing that is like an antenna that would power, the electric would be floating in the air, right? And then it would be just like radio waves.
Right.
Right, the frequency of the electric power would be so high that you wouldn't feel it, it would just go over your body.
You know what would be cool too? That I could, how clear would the sky look and the things around you look without the pollution and the fumes and stuff? That would be so awesome to just be able to see that.
Because some technologies still will need petroleum power products.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Until they come down, until they are able to really maximize the power of a jet plane via electric power.
Yeah.
We won't have electric jet engines, I don't think. I mean, it's almost inconceivable at this point, but maybe in the future we'll come up with something.
I would always think that if you're talking about things that are in the sky, such as a plane,
Yeah.
I would always want to have a backup of jet
Oh,
fuel.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? You would not want to totally rely on electric. You would want to be as safe as possible
I mean,
and have...
You could probably do it on smaller, shorter flights, like maybe an hour.
Right. I mean, and it can easily be tested, right, over certain areas.
Yeah.
Because you just get some airborne rangers that know how to jump out of a plane in the event something goes wrong.
Just,
You know what I mean? They can be
totally
testing the
all right, people, let's hook up.
Yeah. But, they would test it out to make things safe for us civilians. Because they know how to jump out of a plane and land safely. So, in the event that this plane doesn't make it...
Inboard personnel, hook up. Outboard personnel, hook up. Your seat, instead of a flotation device, would actually be your parachute.
Right. Oh,
And have the,
They should make new seats that...
There's just a parachute and flotation device.
Yeah. The new design airplane seats.
And your stewardess would be a ranger. Like a
Oh,
Navy
yeah.
SEAL, like a retired Navy
Hoorah!
SEAL. Hoorah! Lighten up, people, let's go.
Hey, that would probably prevent a lot of attacks. You know what I mean?
They'd
Having
be
that
serve
Ranger.
also serve as the air marshal. What they ought to do is design commercial aircraft like a military style aircraft, like a C-5, where the door comes up. And then just in case, all right, people, we're going down.
That would be an experience.
Don't panic right now, because you're still alive. Get ready to hook up. 10 seconds is drop zone.
I think it would be cool.
Hook up.
That'd be fun. I would like to.
Inborough ports of sale. Hook up. Outboard personnel.
Anyway,
man,
this is
like-
a great discussion. I like it.
Like that 5-year-old needs to be strapped into your body right now. Be kind of cool though.
Yeah, it would be. What else is something that? What is something? Oh, I heard. I don't know if this is true or not either, but I guess Walkman's gonna come out with like a limited edition
Walkman?
cassette player. No, I don't know.
What are
if
they
that's
trying to do? Some cousin or something like that still has a bunch of.
Yeah,
like,
who
I've
has
got
the tapes?
I've got blank tapes, people.
I've been waiting for this to come out because I didn't know what to do with these tapes.
when that CD player came out, it destroyed my industry, and I've got all these tapes.
Right.
But the perfect 90 minute BSAF tapes from the 80s. I have boxes of them.
I think I bought a bunch of the RCA ones because I remember they had the darker color gray, and I just like the way they looked.
So like you would actually just buy the 60-minute one because the 90-minute one was too heavy, and it would take forever to rewind. So you'd have to use this. Actually, the 15-minute one was the best one to record.
Right, because the quality was a lot better.
The quality was a lot better, and then like.
And you were forced to use the short play versus the extended play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and people probably don't even know what that means. But
So like the. Are you talking about
The
VCH,
recording-
the VHSs?
no,
Extended
when
play?
you recorded, right? Oh yeah, even with those, when you recorded, if you didn't use the short play, your video quality was bad.
Yeah. I didn't know they had one for audio.
Didn't they have something for audio that? Oh, they had high-speed dubbing. That's what it was
The
for
high-speed
the audio.
dubbing.
Yeah. And that I don't think affected the
You do your summer
quality
mix.
that much.
Your summer mix that you. Yeah, I mean you.
Pause. New song.
Yeah, you'd wait
Unpause.
in the radio.
Oh yeah, I do remember recording
you'd
radio
wait,
stations.
You'd wait till that special song came on.
Yeah.
And like, oh no, don't take it away. Ah, you talked right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Well, you made your own ringtone.
Oh, you know the one I liked the best was crafting your message on the answering machine.
Oh, I
Remember,
know.
there used to be some really funny ones. You
Oh,
when the word got around that this is a really funny one,
Mm-hmm.
you'd end up calling it over and over again.
Just to hear it. I remember that.
Oh man, that stuff was fun. I miss those days where you actually do like your.
You know what's funny is now when you see a phone call, you know who's calling you for the most part. Back then, it was always a surprise.
Do you remember the
You
ones?
pick up the phone. Hello. Who is this?
Do you remember the answering machine that would be like, "Hello? Yeah? Oh, we're not in right now."
It's-
I was like,
You're already like speaking like
you're
the
like
whole
already
topic.
talking. You're like already
Hey
talking.
man,
Oh man,
got me again.
duped. And then you change it next week. Like they're like, haha, I got it. Then they had that caller ID.
Oh yeah.
That was funny. This is stuff that people don't know about anymore.
Mhm. What is one thing that you wish had not gone away, if you can think back of something in the past?
Like technology-wise?
Technology-wise, or even service-wise, or anything that you just, man, I wish it was still around. Like, they should have never got rid of that.
Huh. I don't know.
Well,
Because everything's kind of still around, but it's not like as popular.
like the 5-speed stick shifts.
I love those things.
They're still around, but they're not as popular. And now, remember back in the day, they used to cost, they were cheaper to buy
Yeah.
than the automatic. Now it's reversed.
Is it really?
If you want something
If
manual,
you wanted like a 7-speed Corvette, it would be more?
I think it would be.
Like your transmission?
Because I feel like right now everything's geared toward mass production, right?
Yeah.
And if somebody all
So
of
the
a
tooling
sudden,
would be different?
if somebody all of a sudden
They'd have to
ordered
special order the
the manual,
stick?
they'd be like, oh, this is slowing us down in production now because we have to make this
Because-
oddball one.
What's really funny though, because it's the reverse in Europe.
Oh, is it? I didn't know
It's
that.
quite the reverse. It's like, okay, so here, like only 3% of the vehicles in the United States are manual.
Okay.
So the opposite's in Europe
Oh, I did not know that.
Only
I would like
3%.
to go to Europe then.
is automatic. They find automatic very boring.
As a teenager, I found it very boring too.
Like
I
they
loved
really wanted to
shifting when I was younger.
You know what's really crazy though? Well, once you learn how to shift, it's like,
You can multitask more.
Did I?
Like it almost gives you a right to be able to watch YouTube while you're driving because I learned stick shift. I know how to
Did it-
multitask.
Did I shift in the third? Yeah, I don't remember shifting in the third. You know?
What do you mean?
You know, like it becomes so automatic part of your.
Oh. Like
You like
sometimes you
especially-
automatically just go through the gears. Just
Yeah,
to make sure
and you
do
don't
it.
even remember, like,
Yeah.
because in the beginning, obviously, you're so focused on shifting the gears at the right time.
And a lot of times you can actually skip a gear.
When you get going, yeah.
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 It's all about speed at a certain point,
But
right?
but when it comes time to like when you, especially when you're, you know, so especially if you have a car that kind of looks like it's pretty fast, people will challenge you. You know,
Well, if
Will
you
challenge
had
you,
if
and then
you
you
had
had
a
a stick
stick
shift,
shift, you didn't
they'd
care
have-
who they were.
they didn't have a chance,
Right.
Because then you could downshift
Yeah.
into third, and then bye.
Yeah.
Just
that's
have that
fun.
minute of separation, right?
Yeah.
People don't understand that though.
I know, like, when I first started, when you came to a stop sign, did you just put it in neutral and just
Yeah.
coast?
Yeah.
As I got older and got more bored, I would actually downshift.
You would put it in like shift it.
Yep, shift third gear. Okay. Oh, going down to second. And then I would maybe skip the first.
What I love.
But
to
I
do-
would downshift because I just thought it was cool when I got bored.
Okay, so question.
But when I was younger, I'd just be like, oh, neutral,
So
and just coast all the way to the stop sign.
so at a stop sign,
Mm-hmm.
you're in neutral,
Yep.
and you see the light. What is the first thing you do? Do you put it on first, or do you put it in second and pop the clutch and then spin out?
I always went with first.
You always went with first.
Yeah. And if I didn't do the second thing, I would just keep it in first and just rev it up and then
Really high.
But I wouldn't go straight to
There's a
second.
lot of torque though in first
Yeah. That's why I liked it.
when you like.
Leave some blackies.
And then,
What's cool is doing it in first and then being able to keep it going while you shift. to
oh
second,
yeah, that's
you
always
know?
fun.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
See, they're never going to experience the fun of that. Like parking at a bridge
Oh my gosh.
and just revving up and leaving blackies on the bridge.
How like okay, so one of
Or
my
even in
friends
gravel, it's
one of
just-
my friends decided the quickest way to learn how to do manual
Mm-hmm.
is to go up on a hill and at the stop sign
Oh,
just
yeah.
be at the stop sign.
When you're first learning to drive, that is so nerve-wracking.
That is the worst.
Because
It's like you're on the brake.
It's like faith, right? You have to proceed because
I mean, you have to find that balance
When there's a-
immediately.
if there's a car behind you,
Oh gosh,
you can't.
you can't. No,
You're going to keep on backing
it's gonna
up,
die,
right? Yeah.
or you either.
I remember that feeling. You just brought back like the memory and the feeling and emotion
mean-
that I have of going through that.
But do
It
you
was
actually
nerve-wracking.
brake though? I mean, because I kind of learned like don't brake because
You can't brake.
You can't brake.
You
You're
just
at
gotta
a stop.
do it.
You're at a stop.
And you have
But
to
you
do
have
it
to,
quickly,
like-
and you have
yeah.
to figure it out
Because if you apply the brake, you're done.
you're done.
You're done.
You just you don't want to back up
it's
to the guy
clutch.
behind you.
The clutch is probably the
There
most
have been
key.
times you stick your hand out the window and you're like, go around.
Go around.
I'm just, it's
Go
the
around, go
anxiety and the
Yeah.
feeling that you just have to be humble
I
and
think-
say, hey, go
I
around
think
me.
that's the reason why we went with the most people are with automatic
Because they don't like that anxiety.
because that the
But
anxiety.
once you figure it out, it's no big deal.
sure once you figure it out, but it takes a little bit.
Yeah. But man, we still remember it. It's
I
definitely.
mean, it's fun.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
My last stick. Actually, my last stick shift was in
But
Germany.
you know the stick shifts usually last a long time.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, you could barely.
The only thing that you really have to replace in that whole system is the clutch after a while.
Right.
Because if you're heavy on the clutch, you're gonna burn it out.
But if your car wouldn't start, you just get your buddies, push along the
Or
road.
go down the hill
Yeah.
and just pop it
Boom.
in the
Yep.
second,
And then you're
it
going.
goes.
I remember doing all of that stuff. They would never understand the bonds and the friendships
Oh
you
man,
had.
I'm telling you,
Now watch, everybody's gonna go buy one to just
that's too
experiment
funny.
with us.
All right,
But we had a great show. It's
this is
about
a really
an
fun
hour.
show. Yeah, man, can't
there was
believe
a
it.
lot of
Let's
different
bring 'em
topics that I had in my head that we didn't bring
Yeah.
up, but we'll just
we'll
save
bring
them
him
for
in
next
for
week.
next time. Yeah.
But this one was a pretty good one. But I really do feel something needs to be done about that.
Yeah, the car seat thing.
The car seats and the
Yeah.
kids in the car.
I think we'll talk about it every week. We might as well talk
I'm
about
not
it every
passionate
week.
about it. Somebody just take that, help us develop something.
Wouldn't it be kind of cool if you can actually have a smart shirt for babies? Have a smart shirt where
don't know
you
if
can
that would be
plug
cost-
into.
Like most parents, you know, kids grow so fast too. So it probably shouldn't be something that they can outgrow, but maybe something that can be attached.
Maybe like have a whole line of T-shirts that have this little pocket that you can put a little sensor in it.
Like a RFID type thing, right?
Yeah, like if you have one of the smartphones, right? It can do you can do your temperature, it could do your heartbeat, it could do your, it can monitor everything. Why not do that for the kids?
Something's ultra durable, something
Yeah,
that doesn't
like
have to be
like a Fitbit,
recharged
like a
so
kid
often.
bit, a kid bit.
It would definitely need a lot of battery life. It would definitely need to withstand water, so it'd have to have like a good IP.
Yeah, like a Fitbit.
Yeah, but the Fitbits, well, I guess there's different models now, but when I had the earlier models, those ones had to be recharged like daily, and it wasn't that water resistant. So the newer ones, I believe, are
Yeah,
that way now.
Kidbit.
Kidbit.
Have a Kidbit.
The Kidbit, have the Kid Internet, the Google Kids,
Yeah.
there's just so many things that we can do, and I think that we need to focus our energy on, it sounds kind
Yeah.
of corny, but safety, right? I mean, there's so many stupid things happening out there that shouldn't be happening.
It would be awesome if your van can determine if the kid's in the back and you totally forgot, and then it would turn on the car, turn on the AC, get the core temperature of the kid down. Actually, maybe even play lullaby music so they can fall back asleep until you can get there. So it's not stressful for the kid.
Remember,
It'd be so sad. I mean,
I
your
don't know if
van
this-
should do that.
I remember when I was, when we had our first kid and stuff like that, we always had these DVD combos that could go on the back, and then
Yeah.
almost all of a sudden, it seems like nobody uses them anymore. it
DVD
seems like.
combos?
Yeah. It seems like nobody uses them because I remember when I was younger,
Because you want to know why?
everybody had them.
Because we have a phone now. Everyone has a phone.
Oh,
everyone
so
has a
yeah,
device.
that's true. There's a device, yeah.
So even the kid,
But I
when
remember-
they're playing with their little toy, I
Mhm.
mean, then now they have apps for kids that will do the
True.
whole thing.
Yeah. Remember we talked about the window in the van that was an interactive window in the back seat that kids could actually
Yeah,
do stuff on? That would
That
be
would
pretty
still be
cool.
kinda fun.
That would be like something that
Yeah.
you could put in the car, and
yeah,
a long car ride all of a sudden isn't so
Sure.
boring. Integrate that with that Google Whiteboard that we talked
yeah. The
about,
Google Whiteboard.
where kids can draw on it, and I think that would be cool.
Wouldn't it be
Anything
cool though?
touchscreen is
Wouldn't it be
awesome.
cool that you actually can do the Google Whiteboard in one van, and the kids in the other van, and you guys are talking drawing with each other,
That would be neat,
interacting with another vehicle.
right?
Yeah, be kind of well. In some cases, I think some nefarious person would be kind
Teenagers.
of creepy.
Teenagers would get a thrill about doing that. I could just see them drawing things they shouldn't be drawing and sending it to the next van. Kind of like,
Yeah, yeah.
you see those old videos of, people on the freeway mooning people.
Yeah.
Except now, you have a drawing board.
That'd be so bad.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, exactly. Teenagers will do things that
It's
they
like,
shouldn't be doing.
Shouldn't be doing.
But we'll save all these topics for next time. Thank you for joining
so
us
much
this
for doing it.
Friday.
Yes.
P.S. Good morning.
Good
and
morning.
I want to give you a quick snapshot of the view that we're seeing right now because I think it's
it's awesome.
really awesome.
All right, awesome.
So look at that, guys. The P.S. Good morning view, and today it looks
welcome.
Really awesome. So I'm glad you joined us, and I'm hoping you like the view.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. Bye.